let's start. So the second topic that we're going to discuss is that uh, low income countries are they different from the rich countries as compared to what they were, the situation were when they were in the developing stage. So this portion will provide facts and figures discussing the similarities and differences between the rich countries when they were developing and us in our developing stage. So what are the differences? So we will start with physical and human endowments. So today's developing countries are more populated, thus less educated and less skilled to exploit the natural endowments for long-term development. So when you compare today's developing countries with the developed world when they were developing, you will notice that the population is way higher as compared to what uh, what they were experiencing when they were in the developing state. So it means that they enjoyed a low population and high human capital environment, and that's why they developed faster. So other reason can be we have already studied in macroeconomics that they in a solo growth model scenario, high labor resource means that it has now low it has low marginal productivity. So a solo model said that when you increase one input, assuming other input is constant or low, then that input will face law of diminishing returns. So since the poor countries right now has high population but low level of capital, machinery or technology or endowments. So what does it mean? That their labor, even though they are abundant, they are facing low marginal productivity because of law of diminishing returns. So what does the so if there is a pressure on the governments to provide them services. On the other side, their excess resource, which is labor, is not productive enough. So that's the difference. Secondly, most of the natural endowment regions are under conflict, like Gulf and Africa. So currently, the countries which we think have high endowments, like Gulf countries which have oil, and Africa which have minerals and gold and diamond, they are facing conflict. So the countries are not able to enjoy the returns, and they are not able to build upon the gains from that returns. So that's why this is the first difference. Second is relative levels of GDP. Today's developing countries per capita incomes are lower than the developed countries per capita incomes when they were developing. This is mainly because of the population. So per capita GDP is actually GDP divided by population. So it means income per person will be higher when population is smaller. So we are enjoying high labor, but they are not productive. On the other side, the output that we are producing is divided by total population. So our GDP per person is smaller because the main reason is high population. And the developed countries were economically advanced and financially strong. So they developed the economy around them. So they had less population, so they were able to create infrastructure, rules and regulation, institutes around the requirements. So they had an opportunity to develop, test them, and properly engage them. So there was no pressure on the in terms of demand or in terms of population. That's why this is the major difference. Let's go to next point. Next is climatic differences. Today, developing countries are located in high temperature zones while the developed countries are in the cold areas or in the moderate temperature zones. which led to fall in soil and agriculture productivity. So because we are in high temperature zone, we need more water, and there is high soil erosion that we talked earlier. Pure human and because of that high temperature, there is poor human and animal health, and the colonialists used unhelpful extractive approaches where they felt it is not comfortable to settle. So it is talking about that the countries where the colonial it was not suitable to settle down, like in Africa. So the colonialists colonies where it was difficult to settle, like in Africa, the ruler tried to extract everything that they can and so that they can leave. So what happened was that they didn't develop any infrastructure. So no proper infrastructure. While if you compare it with South Asia, they made proper infrastructure, which is in some cases still working. Okay, and on the other side, there is high temperature, which is affecting the temperatures, agriculture productivity. So this is the major difference that is there between the developed and developing countries. Okay, let me see if there is another point to discuss. Yes. So next is population size. The population growth of developing countries never crossed $2 mark, 2% mark. So the countries which are developing never grew more than 2% any time in the history. It grew when only grew when the death rate fell. So it is they were growing because they were developing in terms of health. So their death rate was falling. That's why they are now enjoying high population because they have controlled the death rate. So they are only growing less than 2%, but they have controlled the death rate. That's why they have high population now. The high population growth rate has been a hindrance of the current developing countries because it reached to more than 3% in few countries. So let's see in an animation if I can find some chart for population growth rate so that I can show the animation for that. So let me in the animation. So let me get to the population. Okay, let me share you the Gapminder software and let it load so that I can show you the animation portion. So let it see from the history. Yes, you're right that overpopulation is an issue when productivity is low. But in macroeconomics, they are connected. So if you increase the supply of one input, its marginal product will fall. So it can only be not an issue like in London. It is high population country, high population region. So high population will not be an issue if you have equal amount of capital there, so that there the labor productivity is not diminishing. So the rich countries, when they were growing at a high population rate, their capital was also growing. That's why they were not facing low diminishing returns. But for our case, we are growing fast. Our labor is growing faster than our capital. That's why our labor is facing low diminishing returns, especially in Africa where the capital is very short. Now I will show you the population growth rate from 1960 and onward. So you can see in 1960, Kuwait was facing 10.3% of population growth. Qatar 7.2%, Andorra 7.5. So in 1960, there were some European countries, there were some African countries, and there were few American countries, and majorly were is Asia. Now what I will do is let's run it, and you will see the change in the rankings. So Kuwait has 11.5, United Arab Emirates 11%. Similarly, the Asian countries are in majority here, but with the time you will notice that the European countries will go out, and then American countries will also go out, and the major share will be African and Asian countries. So it's up to now 1968. The rankings are changing. So UAE is 16.8% in 1970s. So you can see the change in population levels. So this software is very useful for this course that there are many data sets in it. So you should install it so that you can check many statistics. You can freeze the image and use it in your write-up and talk about the patterns that are emerging from the animation that are being developed here. So by 1980s, Qatar was on the top, and there is no American country there. There is only one Andorra from Europe. All others are Asia or Africa. And Andorra is going down. It is slowing down. World is also slowing down because the top was 18%, now it is 6% Afghanistan. So world is also slowing down in terms of population growth. And soon you can see now Andorra is going down, and now Andorra is not anymore in top 19 countries, top 20 countries. So by 1994, there is only Africa and Asia, and there is now Belize from America. So you can see the top countries are from Asia, and then there are African countries by 2011. Uh, Let it run to 2020 so that we can talk about the last situation. You can notice that the country like China, which has high population, it's not in the list. So they have controlled the population. Country like America, which has high population, they should technically grow with high population growth rate. They are not here. A country like UK, which also has a high population, is not here. Country like India, it's a good it's a developing state. It's not here. So by 2018, you can see there's Malta, which is very small country. So it doesn't matter if it comes here. And then the population is higher in Bahrain, and our majority countries are now from Africa. So it shows that there's a huge pressure in the growth of population. Like all majority of the African countries are around 2.9 and above. Okay, so this means that there is high population growth rate in countries which are not developed. Hopefully, it is giving you a nice picture of what is the scenario nowadays. Now, next, if you go to the next point, this is about international trade. So the countries which were developing the countries which are developing right now, as compared to the countries which were developed earlier, the countries which have developed were fortunate with free trade, which propelled them in 19th century. And their industrialization was because of there was a technically no borders in Europe, so they can trade across any point. Now, even though some of the developing countries are able to produce low cost products like textile, shoes, they are facing trade barriers in the form of tariffs or non-tariffs, coupled with several conditions like sanitary requirements, intellectual property claims, or anti-dumping investigations. So their terms of trades are lower than the developed countries. So what does it mean that the developed world enjoyed good trade situations? So they enjoyed uh, free trade environment, so there was no cost of importing, or the exported goods were going cheap, so they were selling faster, so they enjoyed high returns from trade. Now the countries which are developing right now, they have facing strict environments. For example, if you have to export agriculture goods from Pakistan to Europe, so they check the seed quality and check for the vaccination type, so that they don't want any bacteria that come from here to transfer to their agriculture lands. So they have to check, it has to go through several testings. If it is passed, then it is allowed to be sold in their countries. So this is the rule of international trade. So let's then technological research. Currently, developed economies had it. So the developed economies had the advantage of rapid technological development. So it is same thing. So when they were developing, they used technology, and technology had higher marginal returns. So they enjoyed higher marginal returns. Even today, they are highly investing in research and development for sophisticated production processes. In contrast, the developing countries are based upon simple production, capital saving methods, and labor oriented production. So we are still focusing on labor absorption because we have too much labor. So even if we go towards technology, it will create more unemployment, because first of all we need to absorb the labor, and the current labor is already less productive. And if you adopt technology, what will happen is initially it will create unemployment, and it will drop the productivity levels. Then eventually it will um, start to absorb labor. But how much time it will take, this is a point that requires research. Okay. Next is efficacy of domestic institutions. The developed economies had strong political institutions. They were developing with which promoted opportunities, whereas whereas the countries whereas in the developing economies the institutions are weak. So in our economy the institutions are creating hurdles, while in their time they were developing the institutions around their requirements. Now the institutions are strong enough to hold and to fulfill the requirements and support the growth. So these were some differences that are there because of the what you call it, our development and the development of the developed countries.